we have a very strong backbone in the community. And it has become what we call the Mecca for the Arabian horse.
Oh, yeah.
Because worldwide, it is the place to be in February if you are an Arabian horse enthusiast, owner, breeder, or trainer.
Tell me a little bit about the Arabian horses. What makes them so unique and special compared to other breeds of horses?
Well, they're known for being so elegant and beautiful, and they are actually the backbone of all other breeds of Arabian horses.
Oh, okay.
Horses, period.
Very interesting.
So even the thoroughbred is derived from 3 Arabian stallions.
That's awesome. You really can't go anywhere in Scottsdale without seeing horses. It's just everywhere we go. So tell me how the Arabian horses fit into Scottsdale, their story of coming here, because I assume they're not naturally from Scottsdale, Arizona, or Arizona, period. I could be wrong.
Well, actually, some of the old breeders here, like I mentioned before, were the Gainies and the McCormicks, and of course, Mr. Chauncey. And they just started to have Arabian horses here. A lot of those people came here because of the weather, for health reasons and whatnot, and then they just brought the Arabian horses with them. Arabians actually started here a long time ago at the first at the World's Fair in Chicago.
Oh, okay.
And so that's why Arabians are even in our country. And then a lot of people from this area, like the Brusali Ranches and Lasma Arabians, started importing horses from Poland. And so we have a lot of very strong bloodlines from around the world that have really become the melting pot for the highest quality Arabian horses.
What makes them stand out over breeds? What makes their bloodline so unique and special?
Well, one thing about Arabian horses, they're very, very versatile.
Okay.
They can do anything. At our horse show, we have Arabian horses that will be under English tack, Western tack. They actually herd cattle. They do trail obstacle courses. And of course, the breeding classes are kind of like the dog shows, where it's all on conformation. And that's where a lot of people come from around the world to see who the next great stallions or the sires are and what lines are doing well. And it's quite a science to learn how to study it and to try to emulate that in your own farms. Anywhere in the world. We have transported semen that you can literally breed to any horse in the world, practically.
Wow. What was your attraction to the Arabian horses? Because I know we'll talk about your own horse family that you have, but what attracted you to them?
Well, actually, my mother got involved with Arabian horses. She went to a seminar at Michigan State. We lived in Ohio at the time. My dad was a doctor. And we moved to a farm, and Mother knew she wanted to raise horses because she was born on a farm.
Okay.
She's now 101 years old, by the way.
How amazing. Is she still raising horses?
Well, she's still going to the horse shows, that's for sure.
That's awesome.
And so she decided at this seminar that she liked Arabian horses.
Okay.
And so then, I was just a little girl at the time, and so she started out looking for mares, and she actually went on a world trip to Poland and Egypt and bought a few horses and brought them back to the States. And she was very instrumental in getting our family involved. My brother as well is very involved. He's a international judge like I am, and he actually lived in Saudi Arabia and worked for the king for 25 years. In fact, he's in Abu Dhabi judging this weekend. And then now we've got the next generation. My son, his Dr. Wight, is a doctor with Honor Health in North Scottsdale, and he's actually breeding Arabian horses too. I have a couple grandkids that show horses, so we're a multi-generation Arabian horse family.
I love hearing that. You really are keeping it in the family. All thanks to Mom. I love it.
Yes.
How many horses on your farm do you have? Because you were telling me you just had some new babies arrive recently.
I did. I just had 3 new little girls born recently. Very proud of them. I breed to a lot of outside stallions, and I also have a lot of my mares are by a stallion that I imported from Australia a few years ago. And so I've retained some of his daughters that I'm breeding to some world-class stallions like Dominic, who's actually owned by Orion Farms, another big farm here in Scottsdale. Horse sold for a lot of money. And so I bred to him and had a beautiful filly. I'm really blessed that I had little girls anyway, and to have them be so beautiful is just amazing.
Growing up and showing horses and stuff like that, what has been your favorite part of your story with the Arabian horses so far?
My favorite part is the breeding of the horses.
Okay.
And, excuse me, and having the babies be born, especially in my own little backyard. I call it like a little boutique Arabian horse farm. I only have like 3 or 4 babies a year, sometimes 1, sometimes 5. But I keep a really small farm, but we've been very, very successful.
And did your kids show when they were growing up?
Yes, they did. And I have 2 sons, and one works for the NFL Network, and the other one's a doctor. And yes, they grew up working on Arabian horse farms from the time they could go and work and shovel manure and
start at the bottom,
didn't they? And work for Arabian horse farms. And they had, a lot of money saved by the time they got to college. And in fact, my one son took a year off between high school and college and went to Europe to work on an Arabian horse farm.
It really is one of these multicultural connections. I mean, they're all over the world. How do they get here to Scottsdale? I'm assuming that we're just not flying them on a little American Airlines plane or anything like that.
Oh, actually, they do ship horses all the time on airplanes.
Okay.
Yeah, they fly in here all the time. In fact, I just booked a mare to a stallion that's flying in. Well, he just flew in from Argentina, but he started out in the Middle East. So
that's crazy to me. How many? Let me do that again. Let's take a short break. We'll come in. Let's take a short break. When we come back, I want to talk about this year's events. It's going to be bigger and better. We're adding new things. I went a couple years ago. I'm so excited to see what's coming up next. I'm sitting here with the Arabian Horse Show, Janice McCrea Wight. Janice, we just heard about all the fun things you like to do personally, but let's talk about the event coming up here in Westworld, right in our backyard in Scottsdale. It's a couple years ago that I got to go. I really just walked around with a smile on my face. These horses are absolutely beautiful. I love seeing the little kids, sit around. They're very proud sitting on their horses and showing them and stuff. What are we going to see this year?
Actually, we're so excited this year to have everybody back. We're not masked up and we're not shut down to the public.
Yes.
We are wide open this year, and we are so excited to have the public back to enjoy these beautiful horses. There's no question that they can do anything. You'll see horses in native costume. One of our really popular classes is the Liberty class, where the horses dance free to music.
Really?
And that's just an amazing event. And then we are very interactive. We have this year hoofbeats there, so the kids can actually learn about Arabian horses, and you can actually get your picture taken on an Arabian horse. Oh. We have behind-the-scene barn tours. The little ones, you can sit down at a table and get their own little ceramic horse that they can paint right there and take home with them. It's all free once you get in the gate. In fact, children under 12, there's no admission whatsoever for them.
It really is like a very, very family event that y'all open up the doors.
Adults are $15, and seniors are $10, and children 12 and under are free.
Nothing.
You can't beat it for family entertainment.
You mentioned earlier, and you and your brother, you're both international judges. So this is a 2-part question. What does it take to become a judge, and what are you looking for in a horse as a judge?
Well, we actually have a rule book about the size of an old Sears catalog.
Oh, my goodness.
So you have to go to school for a period of time. There's a lot of testing involved. And then you have to do what we call learner judging, where you actually go into the arena with a licensed judge and observe them. It's kind of like a teaching situation. And then you have to go back and have more tests, and you have to have people sign for you. And so it's very difficult to become an Arabian horse judge. And our parent organization is the Arabian Horse Association of America, but then their parent organization, as far as the rules, is called USEF. which is the United States Federation, and they are in charge of all of the breeds. We're just one of them.
How long does it typically take from I want to be a judge to actually becoming a judge in an international competition?
It would take at this point in time probably 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
4 or 5. Some people have been involved in the business forever
Yeah.
and have good contacts and a good reputation. Might fast track a little bit, but there's a definite procedure, and we have a commissioner through the association that oversees all the seminars and everything, and they do an extremely good job in education, regulations, and all of that.
Okay. Are there any competitions that have stood out to you that have been memorable for you as a judge?
I enjoy judging all over the world. I mean, this past year I judged the nationals in South Africa, Abu Dhabi, Italy, Spain.
Wow.
I've judged, I think, nationals in 25 different countries on 5 different continents. So I have a pretty good global view of the Arabian horse.
What has been, from owning a horse as a child when your mom started to judging and directing and being a president at one point for the Arizona chapter, what has been the most fun for you so far?
The most fun, I think, is introducing new people to Arabian horses. I like to do the TV things and get different people to interview. I enjoy doing that. I've done that forever for the association. And I love watching the kids, because the kids are the future of the Arabian horse. And we have very, very good trainers here in Scottsdale. You don't even have to have a horse farm or anything like that. You can take lessons. We have the Hoofbeats program with Eileen Verdick, and they're actually going to have a presence at the horse show. You can actually sign up there. And that's the very, very basic of Arabian horses, or being involved with horses at all. And then we have some of the finest trainers in the whole country, teachers that actually take them to the next level. And then we are very fortunate that we have some of the best trainers in the country, and they seem to be migrating here every year. More and more of them are moving here to the Valley because, first of all, the highlight of the year of the Scottsdale Arabian Horse Show, the marketing opportunities for horses are extremely high here because of the sheer numbers of horses we have here in the Valley. So if somebody's shopping, this is the place to come. This is the fashion square of Arabian horses.
Well, it just makes sense, to be honest. We are in Scottsdale, and I've kind of heard that. So y'all actually do special events for like buyers and stuff like that, right? And some black tie events that are coming up, and that's where you kind of go and they show them off. Is that correct?
Exactly. They are the stars. The horses are the stars.
That is true. We're just the back seat. A lot of this, and I want this to really be important, you all give back so much to this community and stuff like that. Tell me about some of the organizations here in the Valley that benefit from the Arabian Horse Show.
Well, we do the March of Dimes, of course, and then we have a lot of equine horse things, that rescue programs and things like that we support. We've always donated a lot of money every year. We are a nonprofit donating to nonprofit organizations.
That's amazing.
There's another one within the group, the Horseman's Defense Fund, that people in the business who suffer hardships. Trainers don't necessarily have 401ks or anything like that.
Makes sense.
Even some of the grooms and whatnot, they do an amazing job of helping support people during hardships, during fires or whatever, or accidents or illness. And it's just it's very good to be part of that organization.
Y'all really do care about each other and not just the horses, even though they are the star of the show.
Exactly.
What are you looking forward to this year specifically to the event at Westworld?
Well, I'm excited about some of the new things we have, and we actually get to have people come to the horse show.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Which is so exciting. I know Barrett Jackson, the golf tournament and everything, we're all thrilled that we can actually have the public attend this year. I think the city of Scottsdale has been very good at letting us do that. And even last year we got to have just the, I mean, it was questionable to even have the show at all.
Right.
So to come back, and then of course we have all the wonderful exhibitors. I myself enjoyed doing a lot of shopping out there because there's so much things to look at and buy and see for the first time. There are some people that come to the horse show that never get out of the shopping expo.
I love it. Well, I mean, to be honest, some of the gear that you put on the horses and that your show outfits and stuff like that, they're beautiful. They are so detailed. They're so intricate. They're gorgeous.
Oh, absolutely. It is a fashion exposition out there.
That's a great
no
analogy.
Question.
For the horses and for the people
Exactly.
riding. What are do you have grandkids or anything yet?
I do.
Are they into showing? Are they going to come with you
Actually,
this year?
they're not showing this year. They're concentrating on school.
Good for them.
They have shown in the past quite a bit.
Yeah.
But right now, we've got one horse in training for Western that she should be able, she's only 4 now, so she'll be able for the kids to ride shortly. And then I have a niece that rides and her kids, and so yeah.
That's a good question. How old are these horses ready to be shown and to be ride and stuff like that, to be ridden?
Well, actually, we have junior horse classes out there starting at 3 years old. 3,
Okay.
4, 5. You know, most of the kids' horses, they might be upwards of 20 years old. They're just old standbys that have been through 3 or 4 families, and you know, they're just truly workhorses for the kids, and they enjoy the kids. And Arabian horses just have a natural attachment to children.
Really?
You'll see, like in the 10 and under showmanship class, you'll see these big horses put their little heads right down by the kids.
Like they know.
You know, they just know. They know how to take care of them. Even if you put, walk a small child through a barn or anything, those Arabian horses will put their head right down where they can see them. It's just amazing the natural attachment they have to children. You know, in the Bedouin days, the Arabian horse mare was their most prized possession. She actually slept in the tent with the family.
No way.
Yeah, so we're just part of that.
Are they some of the most gentle breeded horses?
They're very gentle, and they're very personable.
Yeah.
And they're very smart.
They have a personality. I love that. Well, before we leave, any last notes, anything we should be prepared for to go? I know it's September. It's February 17th through the 21st, so it's coming up this week.
Through the 27th.
Oh, the 27th.
It's actually a 2-weekend event, so, and one day might not be enough for you.
It's not. It's not. I mean, we went last year, or like I said, 2 years ago. We spent hours there, and finally it was like my little one was still napping at that point, and that's why I had to leave. My son didn't want to. He's like, but we haven't seen this side yet. And I was like, okay, we can come back. You know,
Yes.
it is so family friendly. It's gorgeous. And like I said, I really did it was a great family event, so I highly suggest go looking at it. One last question for you before we leave, Janice. What is your favorite Scottsdale vibe? Your favorite thing about Scottsdale that kind of brings you here and loves it?
The weather.
Yeah.
And the Arabian Horse Show.
Of course.
Absolutely, no question. All my friends from all over the world show up here. It's like people go to their high school reunion every 10 years. I go to my reunion, 3 or 4 times a year.
That's awesome. I love that because that's so true. You'll do get to. So do you have visitors? Any visitors? What's the farthest one coming for you?
I actually just heard from a friend from Ecuador that's coming. So.
Very cool. Open your doors. Open your barn. Here they come.
Exactly.
Well, go check it out. Janice, thank you so much for joining us at the table today. I'm really looking forward to it. Guys, it's at Westworld. There's no excuses not to. This is part of Scottsdale right now. This is when Scottsdale smiles. I love it.